didn't have it. I came because I just,
Yes. Yep.
I came because they were good friends and deserved it.
Mm-hmm. And it's very nice of Molly to do this.
How you doing, okay?
Molly Parade.
I'm ready. Hurry up.
I know, it's very hard.
It's hard to realize that. What do you hear about Liliana?
Nothing. Just that one day she called me, but through the breakers. And now I am having all my calls from breakers being blocked.
Where is she advised?
Yep.
We don't know.
Yeah, she's a wife, yeah. Yeah, but we don't know why. We don't know why she was.
Oh,
Or they do, but they're not saying.
okay.
But she'll be there for a while. But in one day, she called me like 5 times. Because she's going through the breakers line, I was picking up, and I don't need that. Even Christina said I don't need that.
She's what?
One day, she called me like 5 times, 6 times. But she was going through the breakers because she didn't have my phone number. And it shows up, the breaker's phone number. So I'm thinking, you know, it's somebody. And after 5 times, I said, don't have a call. So now they're not letting her, they're not transferring her calls to me, which I'm glad. Because I don't need this.
No.
Because now I'm helping Carol get ready for her surgery. So I don't need her.
Uh-uh. It's a
I,
shame she didn't know herself.
right, I even like went to Christina. And Christina's trying to call her just to see how she is, like she does when she ain't picking up her phone.
In the hospital.
Yep, nope. So. Cause she wanted me to go in her apartment and get cake for her. And Christine.
No way. No way, girl, you don't,
No. Nope,
you don't know what,
right, what if
brought
I,
it on.
right, what if I am something?
Molly, thank you for having this.
Yes, Molly.
Thank you all for being here. We're almost set up.
Hi.
Okay, here's some practicing.
Mhm. Cause this is a nice song. Yes.
In case you don't know the lyrics.
It's not it, Molly.
Next song. Just While we're testing, tell me if this sounds like a good volume. That's good? Just for background.
Yeah, just up here. I have this in the butter.
Yeah, with the arms,
Yeah.
yeah, it's better.
And then they don't have to,
Thank you, Ray.
What do you want today?
Right up here, please, if you can.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
thank you, Ray.
You're
Ray
welcome.
saved my life today.
He saves everybody's life. Thank you so much. If you can just put in the center, I'll get the rest. Thanks. Perfect, thank you.
All right. Anything else?
That's it. I know you guys are busy. I appreciate it.
All right.
Ray attached the ink to my printer,
Oh, very nice.
and now I can print.
Testing, testing. How does that sound? Good volume?
I think so. I think so.
Testing, testing. Good volume?
The dogs were in my apartment.
Those are some busy dogs. They're
Yes.
all over.
And didn't have anything to report.
Even better.
Yes.
Even better.
Even better.
That Reader's Theater is more fun.
Yeah.
Today was good. Today was good. I remember Suspense, sitting up against the radio listening.
I remember that too.
You're too young, you don't remember. Saturday night with Giselle McKenzie
No.
and, what was his name? All the songs of the day, of the week. Sat up against the Phil Collins and they were flying away. And mother said, why are you having it so loud? As if we couldn't hear the word.
Good for Ray?
Suspense was fun, our Miss Books was fun. Are you gonna lead us in?
I don't know what they have said.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's very great.
It's only 11:40. But it's done. And I got him into the cage real fast and pulled him out in the hallway. And he was calm, so. I mean, some of the names.
I think the elevators are running low.
But the elevators, the
That or beautiful.
No, no, no. You stay here. That's okay. Is that safe for somebody?
Yes, Helen, but please, there's all around us.
How did you get here before?
Report, yeah, see, we got, oh, do, sit up there. Yes. Yeah.
Give us an instant. I can't remember what you said.
Moment of panic there.
Does anyone need song lyrics that does not have song lyrics?
I get a lot of my friends come.
We're going to wait just a couple minutes as people are a little backed up on the elevators.
I know, but you can't.
I heard the, they have them on like a big rolling cart. That's so and so I heard the rolling cart. Grabbed it and threw it in the area. And then came out in the hallway and said, I got this bug thing today, so I yeah, it just great. And so I told my gas carrier, when I went out there, and he said, oh, you're ready? And I said, yeah, but once he's in the carrier, there's no problem. It's sometimes getting him into the carrier, that's a little. Oh. Yeah. Today's Tuesday night, yesterday morning, I got the notice that they were coming today. And then like Liz got last night for tomorrow.
I got it, we had them yesterday.
Well, you were probably the first, because you're so high up. Well, my house is a mess, but it's, you can walk through it, and it's, so. Yeah. It seems like nice young men, you know, the. You know, my niece is, I heard now, but she has been.
I know.
And she said the union.
I leave.
Hotels and
I'll be
not
here.
used.
Yes, I did. So did you. I know, it's been a while. We have a lot of people to honor today.
A lot of people the other come to us. Where am I gonna go?
I'm bringing you to the side of the showroom.
Side, and then they have this way to go out. Then
Exactly. So Ruth, right there to the left is a chair. So you, there you, take one more step forward and then it's
Right here.
right there, perfect.
okay, great. Thank you, Molly.
You know, all you guys.
Freeze us.
She has some little links up on the walls from all her places. She's got cute little shot glasses from all over the world. Yeah, yeah.
Annette. My grand.
She is here, but she's in the middle of a conversation.
That guy called, yeah, that wasn't that, so, okay. When she said granddaughter or something, I said, oh, yeah, I think that's Annette. I know. Yes.
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me fairly well with the mask on? Is that okay? Okay, well, more than 6 feet away, so I'll take off my mask, but I do ask if you all would please keep your mask on during our memorial service today. So, a solemn affair, but welcome to our first memorial service in about 2 years. For those of you that are new to the Breakers, we normally have a memorial service once a quarter, so every 3 months or so, to remember and to honor those residents that have passed away in our community. So we are starting to do that again. And so we are remembering today all of the residents that have passed away during the year of 2021 and into 2022. Today we have 35 residents that we will be remembering. And so I will first ask if you have a cell phone or anything that makes noise, if you would please turn off your cell phones. Thank you. We are also going to be showing our memorial service again next week on our channel too, so it is recording up here. Later into the service, I will ask if anybody has a memory they would like to share, that you would be welcome to come up to the microphone and be on camera, or you're welcome to stay at your seat and raise your hand to share a memory. So I would like to start off with a poem that I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with. It's Until We Meet Again. We think about you always, we talk about you still. You have never been forgotten, and you never will. We hold you close within our hearts, and here you will remain, to walk with us, to guide us through our lives until we meet again. So, as I said, we have 35 residents that we will be remembering today. So I'm going to go in alphabetical order of last name, and for each person as we remember them, I'm going to light a candle in their honor. If you do have a story or a memory that you'd like to share about that resident, I'll ask for you to hold it till after we go through the list of all 35. So we'll light their candle, and then later on I'll ask for stories. Okay, our first resident that we are remembering today is Lynn Austin. Next, we have Arlene Brown. Mary Calamari. Herman Crawford. Mary Doherty. Herman Enderly. Maria Jensen. Jerome Jarenson. William Green. Pat Finley. Wally Hall. Ed Hecht. Matthew Hendel. Ellen Hillman. Alvin Kaminsky. Nancy Kroll. Sandra Knipp. Loretta Land. Margaret Lally. James Long. Madeline McGuire. Florence Messer. Sophia Michna. Marcella Michael. Elaine Pollock. Bill Rapkin. Arturo Ramirez. Geraldine Ruff. Alfonso Salazar. You're going to switch. Genevieve Santo. Joyce Seaman. Jacob Sosniak. Paul Sifter. Margaret Torino. And last, Florence Wyman. I would like if we could take just a moment of silence and bow our heads and close our eyes and remember all those that I just named. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I will ask now if anybody would like to raise your hand or come up to the microphone and tell a story about any of those wonderful people. So I see Hannah's hand up first. Hannah's, either from your seat or up on the microphone if you'd like to share a story.
I think they can hear me from here. If I pull down my mask, can you hear me? No? Want me to go up to the mic?
Is that better? Okay. I think after all these years, I'm allowed to have nerve to get up here. Because I'm the eldest, not the oldest. Well, yeah, I'm the oldest. No, I'm not really. I'm the eldest, meaning I've lived here the longest. The name Mary Doherty comes to mind. She would have been here 22 years. And then I come for almost 18 years. Florence Mesereau. Florence died just before her 100th birthday with a party that was planned so beautifully. I'm sorry she missed it. Florence and I were on the board together 10 years. She was chairman of the new residence committee for 8 of those 10 years. She inherited it from me. I didn't want to give it up, but I had to become secretary. Many knew Florence from her introductions. She had wonderful dinners, just wonderful dinners, introducing new residents to each other. And I think a lot of them still are together or have lost one or another. If Gail is here, maybe. And then Evelyn. I'll keep it short because there's something you didn't know about Florence. Florence was an actress. Her mother was a showgirl in New York. And Florence was an actress. She had many scripts which she wouldn't bring forth, and she should have. Florence told only a few people, but she used to do a takeoff on Sophie Tucker. So many of you don't know who Sophie Tucker was. Sophie Tucker. One of these days, you're gonna miss me, honey. Florence would take a big fan and have a big gown and do a takeoff on that for a few of us. But she did it on the East Coast. She belonged to many, probably synagogues that put on their own shows at that time. Her mother taught her everything she knew. I begged her to put on some shows here and she wouldn't. And so many names come to mind because I'm here so many years. Herman, Florence again, and Mary Doherty, and so many others. And I'm sure there are others that want to come up here and share these stories with us. Molly, thank you so much for having this. Sophie Mishna. I worked with Sophie on The Voice. She did for The Voice what so many of us wish we could do and maybe are trying to do. But anyhow, thank you, Molly.
Okay.
Would anyone else like to share a memory, share a story? Helen?
Can you all hear me? How's that? No? Oh, all right. Anyway, there was about 7 or 8 people that I knew in that list. And I was only here 7 years. But one of my very favorites was Ed Hecht. He was a very good friend. He did all kinds of little jobs. If you asked him, he was very clever in many ways. But mostly, of course, I'll remember because he was really the star. What?
The mic up.
Oh, I can't, it doesn't stay up. Is that okay?
Yeah.
He was the star of my 3 shows that I did, my 3 plays. And he was such a good actor. And he loved acting. His sisters wrote to me after saying how much he enjoyed the acting. And he was a funny guy. He always had funny jokes. I see some head shaking that some of you remember him. And the only other thing I want to say is the first play we did, which we may be doing again, it was a group of people that lived in different places. And one was India. And I said to Ed, don't worry about the accent. Oh, no, I am from India. I mean, he was just very good and he kept that up. So I miss him a lot. And I just wanted to say how much I miss him. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else who would like to share a memory?
Shalom. On behalf of the Bill Rapkin family, we wish to thank all of you who gave us wonderful condolences and warm praises and thoughts. We really appreciate it. And Bill Rapkin came from a small town in upstate New York, and he came here because he had no more family left. And his daughter lived down the street, and she said, "You come here, I found a nice place for you to come." And he did. And he was very, he would consider himself to be a pioneer because it was a big deal for him to leave his home and all his familiar places. And he came here. And every week when his daughter Lisa would come, and we would go out to dinner, and he would see we'd be on the highway, or he would see the Breakers building. He knew the building, and he would say, "Well, we're almost home." So I knew that he accepted what he chose to do and to be a pioneer, like we all are, in our own way. And he really enjoyed living here. He knew everybody's name, and he enjoyed everything that the Breakers had to offer. So I will leave you with a short prayer. May the Lord comfort you with all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem.
Thank you, Diane.
Okay, would anyone else like to come up to the microphone? Nancy, or from your,
Mine is real fast, so I won't come to the microphone. I was in the book club, Whitney Lane, and I got a message from her daughter-in-law explaining about her passing away, and this is the response to me, expressing my sympathy. Thank you, Nancy. We were so glad she found such a wonderful community at the Breakers. I know that her friendships there meant a lot to her. So those of you who were friends with Elaine know that you made a difference in her life. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Any other memories, quick stories about any of our 35 residents?
Her name was a environmentalist. She really was into saving the planet.
Thank you for sharing. If there's no other stories about the 35,
Is Larry one of them?
just a moment. So he was not on our list from 2021, but I know we also lost a lot of residents during the year of 2020 that we did not get to properly honor either. So if anybody would now like to say a memory about anybody from the year of 2020, please come up. Sylvia's coming up and then we can. Yeah, go ahead on the mic.
I've spoken to one of those before. I just wanted to say my husband passed away and he was a retired naval officer. My husband passed away. He was a retired naval commander. Was in for 20 years. We traveled the world and miss him. That's all I can say.
We miss him.
Thank you, Sylvia.
And he was a good dancer.
A great dancer. And then we'll go to Clarice. Come on up, Vivian. Just take down your mask.
Well, I guess, I wanna say some words about Larry. Larry was the first,
Take the mask off.
okay, Larry was the first person who, when I came here, and he was the one who invited me to dinner, and since then we were friends. I used to enjoy his corny jokes, and he has some tales to tell, because he was in the Navy himself, and he retired, and he was a funny guy, and he was also good at trivia too. Thank you.
Thank you. Clarice.
I believe that Penny Wheeler died in 2020, and she was in her 90s. She was a little tiny thing, and she was an extraordinarily interesting person. And she wrote poetry that was very pithy, and I loved talking to her in the morning. She was just a little thing, but it was a real loss when she passed away.
And she loves the movies. She loved going to the movies.
Oh, there's a movie.
Yeah.
She also won every one of those things we had, guessing who won the Oscars. She always won. And she thought she won the prize for the Breakers Buzz, I believe. Penny won the name for the Breakers Buzz, I think.
Oh, she named the Breakers Buzz?
Yes. I
Oh my
think so.
goodness. Well, so then she's still here with us all every week.
Every week.
Lorenia, did you want to share?
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I couldn't let this opportunity go by without honoring my neighbor, and a lot of you might remember Harriet Reynolds. And Harriet had been at the Breakers about, I don't say about 13, 14 years. She died, passed away on Easter,
Yes.
April the 12th on 2020. So she was very special, and those that knew her, a very warm person. And I always would tease her and whatever that if anyone needs any eyelashes, I have some from Harriet. So we'll remember her with love.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else that would like to remember anyone that passed away in 2020?
I'd like to remember something.
Priscilla, come on up.
I'd like to remember Al. I noticed that his Mary is here.
Come on up to the microphone, yeah.
I would just like to say that I'd like to remember Al. His wife, Mary, is here, and she used to take such beautiful care of him when they came down for dinner, and their son is here. And every night he would go by in his wheelchair and say hello, as Mary did, and shake our hands. And that's Terry and me.
And he was just an outstanding person, and I think he's gonna be a great loss to the Breakers. Thank you.
Alfonso Salazar passed away recently, yes. Any other memories or stories any of you all would like to share?
Thank you, Molly.
Yeah. So one memory that I'll share, I think I have memories with just about everybody on this list. But the one memory I'm choosing to share is about Maria Jensen. And she passed away in the year 2021. And I don't know if any of you can pick her out by name. We do have a lot of wonderful Marias that live in our building. That when I first came to interview here at the Breakers, Maria was in the lobby waiting for her son. And so I sat down, Maria and I were talking, and she said, "You're gonna like it here. They're going to hire you. I know it already, or I'll walk right into that office." And so that was my first time meeting Maria Jensen. And every time I saw her after that, I always tell her she was the reason I got hired. She's the reason I'm here. And so it's just a wonderful first memory of my time at the Breakers was speaking with
Maria.
her. Thank you, Maria. She was a wonderful person. Well, if there are no more memories or stories that anybody would like to share, I would like for us all to join in singing Amazing Grace. So you all have the lyrics. I'm going to play our music, even though I know we have perfect pitch already, just as a little background for us. And so we're going to follow the lyrics as they are on the paper. We're going verse 1, 2, 3, and then back to 1 again. And then all I ask is when you're leaving that you just be careful of everybody around you. So here we go. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saves a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear. By grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear beyond my first belief. Many dangers, toils, and snares I have already crossed. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saves a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Molly.
Thank you. Have a nice day, and we'll have our next memorial service in about 3 months. Thank you.
Nobody died. No one died.
If you all would return your lyrics to Amazing Grace, unless you really like to keep them, it'll help us save them for next time. Thank you. Oh, yeah, they're all little tea candles.
Why don't you use the ones with the battery?
For the memorial services, we just always used real candles. We can next time. I just think the live link for this, it means a little bit. There we go. Thank you for coming, Jackie. Thank you for being.
The Alvin followed her around.
Thank you, Erwin. Ruth, in a couple minutes, I'll walk you to the elevator, it's a little crowded right now.
Service. And I realized that I did know more names than I thought.
Mary, thank you for that. It's very nice that there's some of that out there
He was so happy. He was very happy.
I'm sorry, you know,
Oh, no, this is separate from, but this is certainly, somebody that wants to talk to you about that, that's why we're here. But, next week, next Wednesday, trip is to, Reese's. Is that the Reese's up here in Clark? or
It
what?
is, yeah,
It is.
right up there.
Well, do we have any way of knowing if it was, if it's filled up?
I think it is full right now. If you'd like to go, though, I can put you on the wait list.
Well, here's the thing about that though. You know, I think that when Shantae and I, we have a, about fine, you know, we kid about that, but this kind of an agreement, that when it comes to trips, we see whether or not it would work. Now, is that a trip, if it wasn't, you know, even on a waiting list, is the other, like, you both went to the Walnut Room, so it worked, you know. But, is this something that you both would be going on and all that? Because if it's filled, even on a waiting list, it might not work, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I would not be going. It would be Sterling and Shantae.
Yeah.
And Sterling would go in if he can get parking for the bus, so hopefully he can. But I would not be able to go because it's during the time of other programs here. So that starts at, they're leaving at 2. And so I would be here for trivia and they would go together. And so I can put you on the wait list, Ruth, and we can see what happens, and how about we talk early next week?
Well, first of all, the wait list, I need to know that I could get on the wait list and then I need to know about the wait list. And then I would need to know whether it would work or not. I've been there, it's a great place.
Yeah, I've never been there, but the menu looked wonderful.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it is now, because it was, the Blind Service Association had a supper club, all this before the virus.
Did they? Oh.
And so one of the times they went out was to,